Welcome back to YouTube's most monotone music review channel. This is Microcosm, and today I am reviewing 070 Shake's debut album, Modus Vivendi. In Latin, Modus Vivendi actually roughly translates to way of living, so there's your fun fact for the day. This is 070 Shake's debut album, after her EP Glitter, which released I think in 2018. I love that EP, I listened to it so many times. There was some absolute brilliant songs on there like Glitter and I Cry Whenever I'm Alone or something along those lines. There were a few good songs there that I really enjoyed and repeated listening to. So going into this, I was relatively excited. I didn't really know what to expect, obviously. But yes, Shake has a lot of connections and ties with Kanye West, especially after she had that run of consistent great features on some of the projects that Ye worked on, including his own album Ye, and as well as Nas's album Nazir and Pusha T's album Daytona. So she had features there which you could tell she had promise, she had a lot of talent. She was one of the people that I put up as an artist to watch for the future. So naturally I was really excited going into this. I was like, okay, I can't wait to hear what she's come up with. And after hearing some of the singles that she did and released for promotion in Morrow and I think it was Guilty Conscience, I was more excited and I was sort of getting a bit hyped up, although I felt as if she did lose a bit of her edge because she's an artist that heavily relies on autotune. So I was somewhat anxious, but I was still pretty excited. I am a bit surprised, however, that Kanye doesn't actually have that much of an impact, if any. He doesn't have any, he isn't noticed on any of these songs. He's not credited for anything on here. It's more of Mike Dean. It seems like he is the one that is pushing this entire record forward. And since Mike Dean has had such a prolific career of creating absolute bangers and especially creating brilliant songs for Kanye, his record and his catalogue of great songs that he has released is unmatched in my opinion. This is an album that focuses on love. It is looking at the struggles of love and what sometimes you have to face in a relationship, as well as how to overcome these obstacles and sort of get through them. But the issue is that rarely happens. You rarely hear these resolutions of how to resolve all these issues. It's more of a surface-based album where she may put forward a problem or an issue or something that you may have to face and doesn't really resolve it, doesn't really go more into it, she doesn't delve deeper into the actual song and the themes that she's already set up, which is probably one of the biggest issues, if not the biggest issue in this entire album, is lyrically everything seems so simple and so basic that you can't really go further in. A great example of this is on her song Divorce, which it sets up a few little things here and there, but it's so basic, so simplistic, and doesn't go any further that you're left wanting more. But not in the sense of, oh, I want more and I want to listen to more songs like this, but in the sense of I want more and it doesn't feel finished. The song doesn't feel as complete as it could be, and that's an issue that I've had with this song and one or two others in this record. After the song Rocket Ship, it does seem like the quality of the songs do dip a little bit. I don't know why it's like that, but it just feels like some things seem to be a bit more rough. The writing is a bit more rough. It doesn't, as I said, it doesn't really delve deeper into the topics that she's already brought up. The production just feels a little bit off from at places. Maybe part of that problem is that there's a lot of slower songs that come after Rocket Ship, which is the 5th song on the album. There is a lot of slower songs that seem to be very dull, very slow paced, very bland and boring. There's not much excitement, there's not much there to actually want you to keep listening. And there are a few songs here, especially, as I said, Divorce, which is, if it wasn't for the production, I'd probably just want to skip to the next song. However, you can see that she can actually make good, compelling, slower paced music, which is like shown on the songs Under the Moon and Nice to Have. Especially on Nice to Have, just looking at the small things that you really need in a relationship and the small things that you miss in a relationship. I think that is greatly produced as a song. The lyrics are, you can say, realistic. They're quite hard hitting. You get to really understand these elements of what involves or what is needed to be in a relationship. The production on the song as well is just so well done, and Mike Dean, I think, does a great job throughout the entire record of producing such a cohesive and well-oiled machine. It feels as if we are sort of going on a journey around the world, because there are songs here that seem to have somewhat of a Latin influence, and there's songs that seem to have a bit more of an African influence. Like on Divorce, the instrumentals in the background, it sounds as if they've just been ripped out of the Black Panther album. And it's great to hear because it made me keep listening. But I don't know how long that will last. I think if I was to listen to this album another 2-3 times, I probably would just skip it, because you get familiar to the instrumental, to the beat, and it's just like, okay, now I can move on. Also, I think Mike Dean did a great job on the song Morrow, because obviously there's the booming bass there. You can also still manage to take in what she's singing about the uncertainty, about the longevity of a relationship, and how you never know how long it's going to last. You never know when it could all just end. Everything that you've worked on with this person could suddenly end because maybe they've had a change of heart, or there's been an argument that's been had. So I think on that song, the production is fantastic, well paced. Everything just seems to work well together, the vocals and the production, as well as obviously the engineering with the mixing, and everything seems to just blend in so well. I mean, having a really catchy hook doesn't hurt either. It's brilliant. I feel as if this is a song that I will keep listening to for at least the next few months, probably even years. So having that great hook as well helps the song in so many ways, which is also proven on Guilty Pleasures, where it's got probably one of the most catchy hooks I've heard in a very long time, probably rivaling Sugar from Brockhampton, which they released last year, because it's such an infectious hook that you can sing it whenever you're just walking in the street. It just pops up into your head, and I've experienced that over the past few months that this song has been released. The Pines is also a great song production wise and also vocally, because it's actually Shake's own rendition of a song by Lead Belly, I believe from over a century ago, and it's a mixture of that and also the unplugged performance that Nirvana did of a song, Where Did You Sleep Last Night, and she's used some of the lines there. She interprets some of the lines from the Nirvana song and the Nirvana performance into her own song, as well as using the guitar that is played on both versions and sort of transferring that into being the drums, and or at least inspiring the drum beat and the drum bass, and how that basically dictates the tempo and everything of the song. So I think that's a great feature that has been put into this. Hats off to Mike Dean for that. It's a brilliant little detail that he's put in, and you can see how much he's paid attention. The simplistic nature of the lyrics, however, aren't always bad, because especially on the first song, Come Around, you can tell that 070 sort of goes to what I loved about her and what brought me towards her and her distinct voice and vocals, which is sort of like this controlled, shouting sort of performance where you can sort of feel the passion and the love or the rage or whatever emotion it's just trying to put onto you. You can feel it there, because it feels real, it feels raw, and it feels as if it's just coming straight from her heart. The final track, Flight 319, is a very cinematic piece. I really like the song production wise, and even with some of the lyrics and some of the topics and some of the things that she mentions on this, especially the line about losing a child and then still having the audacity to tell a mother that, oh, it was all planned, it was all meant to be. Stuff like that, and stuff that really makes you think, is what I would have expected throughout this whole record. If that line could have been the entire record, in the sense of it was that deep and that introspective and that thoughtful. I think this could have probably been one of the best albums of the year. The album does feel like we've just gone on a world tour, and now we are ready and set to leave Earth. And with the last song, Flight 319, we have now entered orbit. We're now floating, and everything seems to be a bit more at peace. Everything's a bit more calm. Our emotions are running up and down. But the interlude at the end of that song, for me, it ruins pretty much the entire song, because you've sort of worked up towards this grand finale, this really big and cinematic ending, and then it feels like you're starting something fresh, which for me, I'm not a big fan of. J. Cole did the same thing on KOD a few years back, and I wasn't a big fan of that. He put up, I think it was 1985 or a song similar to that, and for me it tainted the rest of the record. And with this, I feel like this one interlude taints the rest of the song and a little bit of the record. With it removed, it feels as if the record would be a tiny bit better. All in all, I think this is a really good record. But I think one of the biggest issues that this also has is that there are very few songs that convey emotion and make you feel emotion. I don't know whether that comes from the production or the lack of lyrics, or maybe even the lack of her expressing herself, but I don't really feel the emotions that she's trying to give off to me. And I don't even know if she's trying to do it. That's the issue that I've got with this. Like, share, subscribe, do all of that. Hit the bell once you've subscribed. Follow me on the socials, follow the person that did the music on the socials. But those are just my thoughts. Yeah, so that is my review for this, and yeah, I will see you again next time. See yous. I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't. That's wrong. Why? Why am I saluting myself? That's weird. It's messed up.